how's this for redneck? I'm drinking sweet tea out of a big ass.
What is that? It's a ball. It's a
Yeah,
ball
one of those.
jar.
It's a wide mouth.
Oh, that's one of those like moonshine
Yeah,
canisters.
yeah,
That's like prohibition or some shit. I don't know.
yeah. How have things been?
I don't know. Crazy. Pretty freaking crazy. This whole year or last year. I don't know what to say. For like January and February, I say this year, last year. I write the
Yeah,
wrong date on everything. It's horrible. But man, crazy. Like just all this shit has happened. Me and my brother, we moved out of like our mom's house during this. Um, so like we have an apartment now. It's great. We're close to our sister, brother-in-law, which is awesome. They have a little baby. So there's this little like 3.5-month-old kid now in my life that
that's who you've been. That's who you've been. I've seen a lot of pictures. That's
oh,
who.
nothing but I have pictures. I have more pictures of her than I have anyone else in my life, and I've only known her for almost 4 months. So
So are you enjoying being an uncle?
oh yeah, oh yeah, and they raised the stakes. I'm now the godfather, so
Oh,
that's like an uncle on steroids. I mean, also an uncle on steroids would be an uncle on steroids too, but
that just sounds really gangster. Like I'm the Godfather. It's just
exactly. I'll do like I was at their house last night, and I don't know, she like her pacifier popped out of her mouth, and I just plugged it back in, and my brother-in-law was like, "Uncle Dan coming in clutch." Like, all right, I'm like, yeah, cool. Had to feed her a burper. And when you burp a kid, you gotta drop elbows on that shit. Like you can be rough with them. I keep thinking I'm gonna like snap her in half, but she's
I know.
literally
Yeah,
fine.
you can't just like lightly tap them. You gotta
No.
like
Yeah. You got to wail on that child. It's abuse, but whatever. It's fine.
hold on, kid. I'm gonna punch you in like the middle of your spine. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, mind if I just kick you? Just kick you real quick. I had, this is, oh man, this is funny. It's weird how, like, in COVID times, you like, people really share and open up because now more than ever, not maybe more than ever, but especially now, everyone has that in common. So everyone feels so linked together and so really in this, and like, you're going through it, I'm going through it, we can just talk about it and whatever.
Yeah.
So what's been happening since I work in a restaurant, I'm a server, is like people just open up about all this stuff to you and just throw words your way, things you never asked to hear about, and so uncomfortable. Yesterday, I'm serving this woman, and she didn't know what to eat. She didn't know what to get. She's like looking at the menu. She looks like kind of just weird and worn down, just sad. And and the guy she's with just like, oh, come on, baby, you ready? Whatever, let's do this shit. And she goes, I don't know what to get. Looks at me and just goes, yeah, I just lost my mom. She just died. And I was just like, bitch, I'm just here to give you eggs. Like, I don't, not to be mean or like, I'm sure her mom was great and all, but she's like, I just lost my mom. Like, you could just say, hey, I'm a little spacey. I don't, give me another minute. I don't need to know that because now I have to
Yeah.
respond.
Yeah.
So,
Like, do you want your eggs sunny side up or is
yeah,
it?
yeah. Do you want eggs? What does your mom want? Your mom doesn't want anything. She's not hungry. She's up, hopefully up there. And so
Yeah.
she's like, I just lost my mom. And I was just like, wow, I'm so sorry about that. And she goes, yeah, she continued it. She goes,
Oh.
man, she goes, I always wanted to bring her to this place. I never got to. And I was just like, so I said, I was like, well, you know what? Let's get something for her then. So then I upcharged her because she ended up getting another meal for her mom who never showed up. But it was just so weird. She's just
Did
like,
she
yeah,
really order? Did she really order a
yeah,
meal for her mom?
yeah. They
Oh
got
my
another thing and
god!
they split it. They're like, we'll split something for her. I was like, yes, all right. This woman's helping me out. So, and then I was like, how shitty are you? Your mom always wanted to come to this restaurant. You never brought her. Now she's dead, and you're gonna rub it in her face that you came, without her. I'm like, you get a little rude there, lady. So I don't know. People just open up about everything now. It's frightening.
That almost, could be like a really dark joke. You could use that on stage, and I'm sure some people would be like, "Ooh," and other people would laugh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll get tons of ooze, but I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah,
I'll take an ooh. I'll take an ooh. I'll take a boo. I just don't want silence. I'll take,
some kind of
yeah.
reaction.
It doesn't even have to be a laugh. Everyone could go, oh, come on. And I'd be like, this is working. Like, if everyone said that, I'd be fine. It's just the silence and that, like, I don't know, you go up, you try new material, and, people know when you hit your punchline, whether it hits or not. And, like, when people just, like, are waiting there, bug eyed, staring at you.
Yeah.
And then there's almost like this, like, tick that goes off in your head when you're approaching the punchline and it's about to just swing and miss and you're not going to land. And it's like the most frightening feeling that, like, all right, I have to do this. And you're just marching towards this punchline. And then you do it and they're just like, all right.
Like
cool.
it's weird. Like I got to this point where, like my mom has been remarried for like a little over 20 years. Like my dad died when I was in 2003, but like recently, and this goes into one of my stories is, which I'll get into next, but I was walking in the mall with my cousin or something. Basically, we flew to Vegas for a week the day after Christmas.
Oh wow!
Only the second time I've ever been on the West Coast, but I'm gonna get into that because I saw some wild fucking shit in Vegas, dude, let me tell you. But his whole thing is he reconnected with his dad recently. They've always talked off and on, but he hadn't seen his dad in 10 years, and he's like,
okay,
I want to fly out there and surprise visit him. And he's like, man, he's like, I can't remember the last time I talked to my dad. I was like, well, I didn't talk to my dad. It's been like 20 some years since I've talked to my dad. He's in the ground. I kind of said it like jokingly.
Right.
I can get to that point now where it's like kind of like a dark, like sense of humor type deal about it. But we went out there and we, for some reason, had to fly from Dulles, which is one of the main airports in Virginia, to San Francisco, and then backtrack to Vegas because of the airline for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that was the only way we could get there. And the flight there, they had that was United. They didn't have the middle seats blocked off. So we're like, when we booked when I remember the Florida story I told you the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I took Southwest, and that's first comes, first served seating, but they had all the middle seats blocked off.
Okay.
But we took United, and it was kind of like a reserved movie theater where you like click the seats you want. You actually pick the seats.
All right.
I'm like, okay, it's all good. We pick 2 seats in the row. Nobody's going to buy the 3rd seat in the row. You would think.
Yeah.
COVID.
Obviously.
I was wrong.
Oh my God.
And so the first flight, we lucked out. There's nobody in the row with us. From San Francisco to Vegas, there was somebody in the row with us. I'm like, you're kidding me. And the second flight, there was not an empty seat on the plane.
Holy shit. Now, were they in the middle? Were they on your lap and they're next to you?
I rode bitch the whole time.
Oh, you're right up front, right in the middle.
I was right in the middle, and I was just like, Jesus. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there. I just had my hand on my forehead like this the whole time, and I just had my mask up. I'm like, God. Luckily, the second flight was like not even just under an hour, so it wasn't long.
Right.
But I'm like, this is ridiculous. But
that's good. That wasn't long then.
I had never been there, and I didn't even know you could legally just walk on the street with like an open container and just drink. Like, cause like everybody there's drinking, and I didn't know that weed is legal there. Like it's even a culture shock for me. Like I see families with like kids there. I'm like, you should not be bringing a kid here.
It doesn't seem like the family friendly spot. Yeah.
No, like I'm like, there's some dude like 3 people back just smoking a joint. You can smell it like clear as day. And it's the strongest smell. It's always like you hit a brick wall, and it's like, oh, it's strong. It's and I'm just like, oh man, like, it was just crazy. And there was like just these showgirls that walked down the street trying to get you to pay for a picture with them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they do is they're dressed all slutty, and they have like sparkly stuff on, and
as one does, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, naturally, no, but
wait, so they try and charge you
yeah
for a picture with them,
Yeah, they basically, they're like, oh, and they go up to families too, and some families will take pictures with them. Like they're dressed, but they're just dressed really,
right,
really
open,
really
open season. Yeah,
yeah, open season, really, really whorish. And there's this one. There were these two that had like, it was just their bare boobs, but they were painted.
Oh, so
You could see their nipples, but the whole things were painted.
That's such a loophole with public nudity. Just
I know,
paint
and
yourself.
I looked at my cousin. I was like, am I seeing that? Like, he's like, yeah, they do. I was like, oh my god. And they just go up to you. They're like, oh hey, showgirl pictures. I'm like, Jesus, no, I don't even want to know how much they're charging.
I was about to ask, how much is it? Do you know? Did you ask?
Didn't ask.
You didn't stop. I get it. Now, but can't you, like, who's taking the photo? If someone says, okay, I'll pay X amount of money for a picture with you, who takes it? Is it on your phone? Do you pay first, after? I feel like there's so many ways to just be like, all right, selfie with the tits, and then you just walk away and you got a free photo.
I know. I thought about trying that, but I didn't want to get like jumped or anything. But I think someone's like walking along with them with an actual camera.
Oh, okay. So it's like professional.
I think. But
man,
I was only approached about like buying drugs once the entire time I was there. So I was like, hey,
all right, that's not bad odds.
Not bad, but no. It was wild. Like, like, well, I'm gonna get one of these like gigantic, like super strong slushy drinks in the big cups.
Yeah,
and just we walked all over the place, but it's just wild though, because I've never been there, and like I'm just like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
like seeing all this wild stuff.
It's lawless.
Yeah, like free for all. Like
right.
The cops have something better to do than to worry about, oh, this person's drinking on the street, or as long as you're not like causing trouble or being an asshole about it,
Right. I don't know. That just sounds like old, like Western timey shit. Just people out in the open drinking, women dressed to nothing, taking pictures and offering themselves. That just sounds like, I don't know. Sounds like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I know. I want to be like, yeah, no, it does. I want to be like, if I'm paying you for something, it's not going to be a picture, but not, I would never do that. But even that's legal there.
Right.
And that's crazy. And I've heard stories of hookers just like walking up to you, and that didn't happen when I was there.
Yeah.
And maybe like the summer's their main season. I don't
They're in season.
Yeah. I don't know though, but I was just like, oh my God, I don't know. Like, of course, no, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, cause I've never been approached like that. I wouldn't know how to even handle that. Like,
no, I think once in my life, I think I spotted one, and I say, and I wasn't sure if it was literal prostitute or just a woman who like lost her clothes or something. I don't know, but it looked pretty close to both. I don't know what it was, but never been approached, prompted. I don't think anyone wants. Oh shit! I don't think anyone. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Not my speed. Personally.
Yeah, no. I just want
to make that public. I would never pay for sex.
Oh no, yeah. I said, I joke, and I'm like, oh man, I hope I'm approached by some hookers in Vegas. But I'm like, and I literally said at the same time, like, I would never pay for something I could get for free.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, no, I'm like, I would never pay. No. Yeah. I'd rather wait. Because I'm not lucky with women. I'd rather wait like 6 years down the road when I finally have another girlfriend, and I'd rather things happen naturally. Like I would never.
Oh yeah.
I would never entertain.
Right. I don't know, because if you do that, you get an STD. You got spots on yourself. You can't live with it. Like it's a whole thing. All of a sudden.
I know. So what is next on your list? I literally have my notepad off to the side. It honestly helps a little bit, like the little notepad on my screen where I just have like a little list of a few things.
Oh, on your screen? I was not that thorough. I got a cell phone and
oh, that's fine too.
Yeah, I mean I got two I'd love to get to. It kind of goes with what I was saying before about like this happened in a restaurant I worked at a while ago. I was a busboy. I was like 17. I had pimples, bad skin, and going nowhere. And I was working in this steakhouse, and it was a really nice steakhouse. Everything was coursed out, and I'm busting these people's appetizers.
Yeah.
And there was this table. It was a table in the corner. For some reason, couples were always making out in this table. It was like make out reef, just off to the side in the corner.
Was it a booth or just a regular table?
It was a booth. They cozied up. Yeah, for sure a booth. And people just were horny as hell in that booth. So I'm 17, and there was this dude in like this suit and this woman, this like busty leopard print, like, dress. And I go up to them. They're done with their appetizers. And I was like, hey, I kid you not. I go, hey, can I take these things out of the way for you? They go, yeah, definitely. I go, all right. I start stacking the plates. I got on my arms. I'm walking away. He goes, hey, how long until the food's out? I was like, your entrees should be up in, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes.
Now, before you continue, around how old they were a couple, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Around how old would you say they are?
They're probably 55. Both of them, I'd say mid 50s.
Oh, wow. I was going to say leopard print. That has to be an older woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Continue.
55 is really old. So,
okay.
So there's this 55-year-old couple. I'm 17, uncomfortable, holding plates. And I go, yeah, your food will be out in 10 or 15 minutes. He goes, all right, no problem. Do you mind if I take her in the parking lot and finger her really fast? I almost dropped the plates. I peed myself. I was like, holy shit. I was sweating. I had cold sweats. I took a dump in my pants. It was a whole thing.
This was late at night, wasn't it?
Oh, it wasn't late enough to be like, that makes sense. It was only like 9:15. Like,
so they were like mid 50s, like all over each other in the booth.
All over, all in her. And let me tell you, they left. I kid you not. He asked me that, and I just went, ha, 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 started to walk away. And she's like, oh, honey, you're bad. Cut it out. You're bad. Talking to him. And then they were gone. I kid you not. They walked out of the restaurant for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, he was honest. He was really, they did it. They 100% went and did that. And at that point, I was 17, uncomfortable. And I probably, was just like, okay. And just walked away super uncomfortable. I was like, just like shocked. But at this point now, freaking 5 years later, whatever it is, I'd probably just roll right with him and be like, hey, can I come? Like, you got room for another or something? Like, I don't know. I'd make it work. But then I was freaking just petrified. People overshare. Like I even said before about the woman from yesterday. She's like, my mom just died. I'm like, well, that's too much. And then people, they don't care. I don't know what it is about me. This was like a month ago at my job now. I'm serving this table, and it's a breakfast place, so it's the morning. And one of the tables was like a little wobbly. So I go up to the table, and I greet them. I'm like, hey, guys, what's going on? Another couple, probably 50s, late 40s, sitting across from each other. And I was like, hey, guys, what's going on? And then I go over. The guy is shaking the table back and forth, like, at her. And he's like in like a sexual way. He's like, ha, ha, ha. And he's like, dude, was being weird. And she goes, oh my God, stop it. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then he looks at me, he just goes, yeah, we had sex this morning. And and I was just like, oh, right on. Okay. And she's like, what are you telling him for? The whole thing. And he's like, what? I'm excited. And I'm just like, all right. I don't know what it is about me that people are just like, this kid needs to know our sexual details of our relationship.
Every single detail. No, dude, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Do you mind if I take her outside and finger her really quick?
Dude,
for the
And like, I don't know if I would have said, actually, sir, would you just wait till after your meal? Like, I wonder if he would have stayed and been like, I respect your decision or something or what. But
it's how long for the entrees? Because I'm trying to go outside and
Yeah. I was freaking shell shocked, man. It was so shocking.
And I didn't even write this down, but like that kind of sparked like the oversharing, kind of like going into my actual story. Like you said, like, so he says, oh, so they lost someone. You say, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. But then like, I also didn't want to know that. I understand you tell me that if I ask, oh, how is your day going, or how are you doing today? Then they say, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. But then you start offering all this information.
Oh, I didn't ask.
I hate being in awkward situations. Like I went to meet a friend for a call at Starbucks, like in the evening, probably like maybe about 4 years ago or so. And I was just sitting in my car, just listening to music. And I'm just sitting there, just looking on my phone. And when you can see stuff out of your peripherals.
Right.
And I see this person walking towards my car because the window's down. And I'm like, and immediately in my head, I'm just like, oh shit. Because then it's like, because then it's, if you just roll the window up, it's obvious you're trying to avoid them purposefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I can already tell they're close. And I'm like,
it's too late. It's too late.
I'm like, oh Jesus. And I look, and it's this white chick. She's blonde. She's not the best looking, but she's not horrible looking either.
Okay.
And she said, she asked me, she was like, I need help getting to my hotel. Oh, no. And I was like, and then she went into the story about how she got an Uber and the Uber kicked her out. And immediately in my head, I'm kind of like, this sounds kind of like bullshit. And I'm like, and she's like going on. And I was like, I said, I'm meeting somebody for coffee. She's like, well, I can wait. You can take me after. And I was like, no. I was like, no. I was like, I'm not really comfortable. She's like, I can pay you. She's like, I can tell you where the hotel is. I can get, and I'm like, and she's like, I'm not propositioning you for sex. She straight up told me that. And I was just like, I was like, I didn't think you were. I said, I'm just not comfortable. Like I'm meeting somebody, and I'm just like, and she's like, I promise I'm not a bad person. And I said, I believe you. I said, but I'm not.
No, run.
And then she was like, and she kind of looked at me. She's like, for real? And I was like, yeah, for real. And I kind of like did that. And basically I had to like drive away and park somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, like my heart was beating. I was like, what just happened? Like, I wasn't like scared, like fearful of my life. I was just like, what is going on?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's happened to me. That hasn't happened to me before, but like in a situation where like, your life isn't in danger, but you're like adrenaline is pounding because you don't know this person. And also, if there's one thing that you could say to make someone think you're propositioning them for sex, it's probably, but I'm not propositioning you for sex. It's probably that really makes you think, but are you? Like, I would think if there's one thing to say, it'd be that.
Yeah, and it's like, even if I did entertain it, the only safe thing I could have done is actually take her to her hotel and be like, all right, have a good night, and that's it.
Right. I wonder why she got kicked. I don't know. She doesn't have a great record. Hey, I got kicked out of my Uber.
It could have been a story. I don't know, but she didn't look homeless. I mean, she had nice clothes on. She had a purse. She had,
right.
She had a cell phone, which was cut off. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm trying to like get rid of her. And she just keeps going, but I'm not, I'm like, I believe you, but I'm meeting somebody. I can't. Like, I'm not assertive at all. And finally I was just like, I'm not I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like it came to me doing that. And
there is, that kind of reminds me, I don't know, you've probably been in public sometime, or I don't know if this is definitely just New York, but you've probably been in public or somewhere where like there's a little kid and he's got like a box of school supplies or something. And he's like, hey, would you buy an eraser for $5? I need $5. But that's happened. So I've experienced that, or in Manhattan, you're going through, you're at a stoplight, the guy's got a cup and you're like, I got no money, but you're just left the bank, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And this kid, I'll never forget this kid. And I hope he's doing well now, but I didn't help him. But basically this was around 4 years ago. I was with my girlfriend at the time, twice removed, and my ex, so, whatever. And we go to the bank. We're going to the bank. And It's the winter. There's snow on the ground. Right outside of the door to the ATM is the kid with the blue jacket and the ripped jeans and the huge box of school supplies, just like shivering in the cold. And he's right outside the ATM. And I'm like, this kid is rooking us. I'm like, this is a checkmate move. He is an expert strategist, and I hate his guts. He was probably 9, and I hated him. So, I don't know, 9, 10-year-old kid. I'm walking into the bank, and he was like, excuse me, would you... He goes, well, I'm raising money for this thing, and I got, eraser shavings and ballpoint pens. Would you get something? And I was like, listen, Rusty, I gotta, I'm going to the bank. I'm doing adult things. And I was like, I have no money. I was like, I got no cash. And I was going to like deposit a check. And I was like, I have no cash. I'm sorry. And then his facade just went down. He's like, yeah, but you're going to the ATM. Just take it out of the ATM. So this kid, and I was like, I'm about to get shook down by a 10-year-old here. I'm like, what is this? Freaking preschooler is about to just, take all my lunch money. So he's just like, yeah, dude, just use you idiots, use the ATM. So I was just like, haha, okay. We go into the ATM, and I'm shaking in my boots. I'm like, am I about to take money out? And me and the girl are at the thing. And then I do what I have to do at the ATM. And I'm looking outside, and I see someone else is talking to the kid, and we booked it. I was like, I waited for him to be busy, and we just took off. I'm like, I'm not giving you a 20, because ATMs just eject 20s. Yeah. I'm like, you haven't earned this. All right, go get a job.
Oh my God. I don't like uncomfortable like situations like that, and it makes it's and I don't want to sound racist, but I had a very similar, I have a very similar story to that. But when the chick I was engaged to, we used to go to like the gym together, and I would meet her there, and I'd follow her back to her place, separate cars. And she stopped off at a Wawa to get gas. That's Wawa by her place. And so I followed her there. I'm like, oh, we'll go in and get some smoothies, some fruit smoothies or whatever. Right. And there's always stragglers hanging outside of places like that. Always. Yeah. Always. Not as much as like some random 7-Eleven. I mean, this wasn't the thing is, it's not in a bad area. It's just there's always somebody hanging out. Always.
If there's a Wawa, it's a bad area.
And but she's sitting there pumping gas, and I'm just sitting there by her car talking to her.
Yeah.
And this big guy who had literally, for one, walks up to the gas pump with a lit cigarette.
Nice.
And she's sitting there, she like kind of looks and notices him first. She's like, and then literally the dude totally could have like pummeled me. Like 100%, but like my initial reaction was to step in front of her.
Right.
And he was like, and he was with like 2 other females. He's like, we're trying to get here. Do you have any cash? I was like, no, I don't have any cash. And just having a card. And then he said, well, you can use the ATM. And I was like, no, I cannot. I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And since cops always hang out in those places, I went inside and told the cops, like, hey, they're hanging outside asking people for money, because they're not supposed to do that.
I mean, I would just be like, if he was like, you could use the ATM, I'd be like, you can use the ATM.
Yeah.
You need cash, you have nothing. What is it? Like,
yeah. And it's like, I feel bad. It's like certain situations like that force me to be mean. Like, I'm a quiet person, but like certain situations like that, like you kind of have to like stand your ground.
Right.
And versus if I were in your ATM situation, I totally would have booked it too.
Oh man,
I'm like, he's preoccupied. Let's go.
Yeah. Someone else is digging into their pockets, and I'm just like, all right.
you just go out the door and you just like kind of do that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, yeah, that kid sucked. It's funny you mentioned this kind of reminded me. This is circling way back, and you mentioned Guam about 35 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So at my old job, I had this is a riveting story, if you will.
I love riveting stories.
Get ready. So at my old job, there was this place in the back we called it Guam because it was far, and it was this like big warehouse building that like I worked in, and I did like there were like these like boat rental things or whatever. It was on the beach. I was 16 years old, and there's a place in the back called Guam. We called it Guam because it was far, whatever the hell. So this place, there was a lot of workers. There's probably like 8 of us on this shift working this day. And normally everyone would take separate lunch breaks. So today the owner was like, hey guys, let's all break for lunch together. And this guy's a really great dude. I don't know for whatever reason, if he would ever hear this, but he's an awesome guy. This guy is great. He's done a lot for me. But this has to be said.
This was today?
No. This is freaking 6 years ago.
And this Guam, the building, that was attached to your job. It was just kind of like it was just a storage. Okay.
Yes, it was a storage area.
But it was the same property.
Yes, exactly. It was in the building. So this just reminded me of this place. So this doesn't take place in Guam, but it's near Guam. We're all breaking for lunch. There's about 6 of us. Now we're eating lunch and we're going about our business. And the owner, I'm just going to call him, I don't know, Zechariah. Let's call him Zechariah. So Zechariah, my boss, is like, we're all eating, hanging out. It's about a 45-minute lunch. Normally it's 30, but we're all hanging out, having good talks, whatever. So Zechariah says, hey guys, I think I got a cheesecake we could crack open if you want. And I'm like, line it up. I'm starving. So he goes against the cheesecake. I already committed. I was like, I want this cheesecake. How about it? Everyone's like, I could go for that. He comes back with the cheesecake, and it's in one of those like catering cake trays where it's like the black and the clear lid. It's so loud when you open it.
Yeah.
Those things are crazy. And he opens it. And before he opens it, I'm looking at it and I was like, oh, there's about maybe 70% of this cheesecake left. And Zechariah opens the top and I'm staring at it. And it takes me a second. I'm looking at the top of this cheesecake. There is across the entire top a layer of mold. Molded over the whole top of the cheesecake. Just a good, like, I don't know, a freaking good, like, edamame green just right across the top of this cake. And immediately I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine without it. I'll be fine. I'll be better. I'll be better without that cheesecake than if I eat it.
Did he know it was molded?
When he opened it, he said, oh, well, would you look at that? And I'm like, Zechariah, you got some explaining to do. Why is this back here? Because it must have been molding for days at the least.
Yeah.
So, it's a good, layer of mold. And at this point, everyone else is like, all right, we're throwing in the towel on the cheesecake. It's not happening. Just forget about it. We'll all get back to work. I'd rather eat the chair I'm sitting on. So Zechariah was like, hell to the no, we are eating this cheesecake. He proceeds with his bare finger, just wipe the top of the cheese and just all the mold with his bare finger and it all just piles up on the side and it's just this clump of just green and he just throws it next to the cheesecake on the board. There's no more mold on the cheesecake, victory. And he thinks that's it. Mold I killed mold. I defeated the mold. Yeah. And there's no more mold. So he thinks it's totally good to go now. And I'm like, I'm so glad you don't work in the restaurant industry, Zechariah, because you'd kill a lot of people. So that's just a layer of this on the side. And I'm just looking at it. And then he proceeds to cut slices. And I was like, you know what? I'm full. I'm actually good. And it doesn't look that great. So he cuts slices and he just eats it. And it was him and one other person. They're like, I'm game. And then the 5 of us or 4 or 5 of us were just staring in amazement as they literally ate this moldy cheesecake. Again, Zechariah, I think you're great. I think you're a good, solid man. You've taught me a lot in my life. But don't do that again.
I would have just to see somebody eating that, I would have just had a straight face. Like,
I think I had to leave. I was like, I'm going back to work.
I get nauseous and disgusted if I just see mold.
Oh.
I'm just like, oh, like if I somehow don't tie a sleeve of bagels tight enough, and I see one on the top, I was like, oh, trash.
Right. Even a little spot of mold, I'm like, throw everything out. It's all going out. This dude literally just wiped it all off, and then just was like, who wants some? And just started cutting it. I'm like, bro, don't make this happen. Like, it doesn't have to. And then him and another person, and they're still alive. I don't know. I'm like, all right, if anyone's immune to coronavirus, it's you two, because you ate moldy cheesecake 6 years ago. So
it's all mold, no problem. You just scrape it off. Like, ugh.
It was rough to watch. It was like, I remember, like, I don't know. I have a pretty good stomach when it comes to, like, I don't know, gross stuff. It depends on what it is. But I remember feeling my body like churning, like I don't know. I was queasy, and we all talked about it for like a week. All the staff members. It was like, this is just not my line of work.
Yeah, that's no. Mold is no good. So I guess he was a trooper, and the one other poor soul that chose to eat it with him.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they felt too invested to really back out. I was proud of myself that I didn't slip into some codependency and go, I will eat it. Like, it was setting boundaries. It was good.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny because I'm not cut out for, like, customer service. 'Cause like, I'm not working right now, but I have money in the bank, thank God. But I used to work at a Wawa. Okay.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
That's a bad area.
So you said wherever one is, it's a bad area.
I'm kidding.
But when you dealing with the general public is so incredibly difficult. Right. Like, it's easy, but it's extremely difficult because of stuff you have to put up with.
Yeah.
And I'd probably say the worst thing I ever had to deal with was not even dealing with a person. It was dealing up with an accident somebody had in the bathroom. Shit. And I'm like sitting there, and it's funny because one of the female managers noticed it and was like, yeah, can you do me a huge favor? She's like, I can't deal with that. And I'm like, I understand you're a female and you're asking me. I get why you're doing that. But I'm like literally everybody was like, no. And I was just like, I kind of like slowly creaked open the bathroom door and just kind of peeked in. And I was like, oh, hell no.
Where are we talking? Is it in the toilet, on the floor, in the sink? Did they miss? What was it?
On the floor to the right of the toilet.
No way.
Yeah. And it was just like it wasn't fully solid, and it wasn't fully liquid either.
That's it.
And I'm just like, oh my God.
Man, I'll take the moldy cheesecake over that.
But I mean, I was like, all right, well, let me get like a mop bucket. Something like that happens, we have to like basically close off the bathroom, like put cones and stuff, like, and like, no. Right. And like the guy, like, but I'm like, no, you have to use the women's bathroom.
Oh my God.
And then like one of the employees had to look, okay, no one's in there, go ahead. And they stood outside of the women's bathroom and guarded it while he went in there to use, but it's like, we couldn't let anybody in there.
Now, is it a single person bathroom? This is the men's restroom?
The men's restroom, and had
public,
a urinal and a stall with the door.
Okay, so we're talking 2 people, 3 if one wants to shit on the ground, apparently. So
yeah, and I went there with a mop bucket, like several trash cans, and I like triple layered gloves on my hands. And like I just literally, I was like, I almost did like Hail Marys. I did like one of these things when I went before I went in there. I was like, oh my God, Right. And I held my breath. And I was like, I took like, we had these, they had these like sanitizer wipes, almost kind of like baby wipes. Like, would you just wipe your hands? A bunch of those, a bunch of thick, heavy duty paper towels, like wads of them. I took a whole box with me, and like several like thick trash bags. And I just kind of just took a quick glance, and then I just started like, and I held my breath, dude. And when I came out, they said I looked like a ghost. I was pale, and I was just like, like, oh my God. And then like literally I was like, I'm gonna sit down, and they were fine. Luckily that was towards the end of the shift. They were lucky with me not doing any work after that. So I was like, they're like, you're a hero for cleaning that up. And I was like, oh my God, like I couldn't, there's no way in hell I could have done that if I wasn't holding my breath. Like there's no way. There's no way. Like,
man, I don't know what it is. And we've had situations at my restaurant now. Like there was someone, I kid you not, by a table, it smelled like cigarettes really bad. And people smell like cigarettes, they smoke, and it stays on your clothes. It smells bad. And like, you smell it. And I was over, and the people left who I thought it was. It still smelled. And I was like, it wasn't them. I go in the bathroom. Someone smoked a cigarette in our bathroom. It smelled like my head was in an ashtray. They just went in there.
That's so trashy. That's one of the trashiest things to do. Oh my God.
And just smoked a live cigarette in the. I'm just like, who just does that? And like there was ash in there. Like I saw everything. Like you could see, because that gets everywhere. And I was just like, at what point you just like go outside. You can smoke outside. There's 3 people doing it right now. Like you're probably further in the bathroom than you are from outside. Just go outside. It's the summer. It's a nice day. What are you hiding from? Like,
yeah.
I was blown away. I'm like, the people will do anything in an area that is not theirs and not their responsibility to clean up.
No, like it's like, what is this, high school or something?
Yeah,
like, I didn't even want to do that in high school. Like, you just hear, or at least they show that kind of shit in movies all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in the bathroom, they're smoking a cigarette, and they're like, "We're good, we're cool," and that's it. But I'm like, in real life, I hate your guts. So like, someone's got to clean that, and just. I think we had to like close the bathroom for a while and let it air out and like clean everything. And it's just such a fucking hassle. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I don't smoke cigarettes. If I ever do or have, it's if I'm like really drunk. Like at my sister's wedding, I barely remember the wedding, and I was just like, it was like a blanket was over my head the whole time. Me and my brother and like a couple of our friends were just like so gone. And great, beautiful wedding, fun time. But I chain smoked, and I had 3 cigarettes back to back, drunk, and I don't really remember it. But the next day, people are sending pictures, and like, we had such a fun time. And in the picture, I just have a cigarette hanging out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh my God. And when I woke up the next morning, my mouth tasted like a bag of garbage. I was like, this is like, people do this every day, all the time, and feel like this. I'm like, that's a horrible way to live. Like, that's gross. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of those things I was addicted to, and then like you don't realize till like I didn't realize till like I stopped. It's like, even if you don't, it's totally noticeable.
Right.
Like the smell is totally noticeable. If you don't, like Mac's fiance, like at the beginning of a relationship, like I would occasionally sneak a few every now and then, and she'd work pretty much all day. And I'm like, dude, I take thorough showers anyway, but I'd like thoroughly brush my teeth, use a really good mouthwash, good cologne, everything. And she still knew.
It's so potent.
And I'm just like, I'm like, okay, I smell the cologne, my breath smells, and she still somehow knew. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I was like, well, you stressed me out. I had to. Like, but it's like, you don't, until I stopped, I didn't realize how truly strong it is.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God.
Right. What made you, stop? Was it her? You just felt like you're done with it? You need to quit? Like,
I think I was just ready. I still do like the little like electronic thing to get my fix of like the nicotine, but it's like I smell good. I smell good, and I've gained weight, and like you pack on weight when you're, because that kind of curbs your appetite.
Right.
So but it's like. That's funny. You're like, I was drunk, and those things kind of go hand in hand too.
Yeah.
Like if you do that, you're gonna do it even more if you're drinking.
I know. Yeah. That makes sense. I'd like, like I said, I never, I mean, it's been so long anyway, but like, I do not smoke at all. And then at my sister's wedding, I had 3 back to back, and everyone's like, "Look at Dan, he's a fucking idiot." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, cool." And,
like, that's so funny.
Literally, as I'm like, yeah, never again. Not a good taste, not a good feeling, and doesn't smell great. But
did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
I don't know. I just let me see if I got any more moldy cheesecake stories. Okay, all right, yeah, I'll end on one other, and then if you want to throw in something, go for it. This is going to be easy because it's the same place where Zechariah works, and so like I said, it was like we'd sell boats. There were like kayaks, sailboats, all this stuff we'd sell. Mm-hmm. Zechariah was a big sailor. He is a big sailor. It's like the old man in the sea. So he went out for a sail one night after we were like closed, and when he came back the next day, I knew he went sailing the night before because when I'm there in our showroom, his clothes were drying on boats. He had hung up his clothes
on boats that you rent out for customers to...
No, on brand new boats we sell to customers. Even worse. So, and I knew this man was walking around stark naked because his socks and boxers were hanging off the bow of one of the kayaks, just right off the front.
Yeah.
And he had shorts up on the kayak. So I'm like, well, that's, a look because we're open and there's people here. Now, I noticed it while I was doing other things. I was like, I'm sure he'll take care of it. Zechariah's here. He's, on top of it. He wants it to look nice. No. Zechariah took a woman from upstairs, downstairs, and she wanted to look at a kayak. She was intrigued. She wanted to see about buying one. He takes her into the showroom to sell and really, try and get her to buy this boat. Mm-hmm. He's going through some of the boats. And then as I'm walking past the room, I glance in, and Zechariah is trying to sell this woman a boat that has his freaking underwear hanging off the top of So this dude, I don't think he even realized it because the way he's standing, his back was to the front. So the front of the boat was over here and the end of it was over there. And he was looking at this woman, and the way she's looking at him, from her point of view, the underwear is just hanging behind his head. And he didn't know. He completely forgot that he had it there. And he's like looking at the boat. He's like, "This is a great boat. You could fit a kid in it. It's awesome. It goes fast. You can paddle your way to hell, whatever the hell it is." And there's this freaking tighty whities hanging right behind his head. And this dude's a genie. He sold the boat. I don't know how, but it wasn't enough.
So she obviously saw the underwear.
Oh yeah.
Like, does the boat come with the underwear? Like, is that like a...
it was impressive. I was like, I couldn't sell the underwear to someone who needed it, and he sold a boat with boxers on it. So I was pretty impressed. He's a good dude, good salesman. I'd buy a boat from him in a heartbeat with underwear.
That's so funny. I don't have any really funny stories like that. That's several awkward situations. Like I get embarrassed easily, so I can't imagine. I'd be like, oh. It's kind of like you realize after the fact, oh, well, there's my underwear just like hanging, and you like knew the whole time.
Oh man,
and he's just sitting there talking to this lady, and you're just sitting there looking at the underwear hanging from.
And I'm 16. I can't really run in and just go, "Hey, let me interrupt your sale," and just remove. Because if I go over, then they look at me and they just see me taking everything off, and that's just. It's like, oh, this woman's gonna be like, oh, this guy just has these children taking his underwear for him. Like, I don't know, like it was clearly like old man underwear too. There were like rips in it and like stains and all stuff. It wasn't like a fresh young pair of boxers. It was like, oh. Yeah. And I feel like that makes it worse as that woman being like, oh, that's this guy's underwear who I'm talking to. Like, I feel like that's worse for her. But she bought the boat, didn't get the underwear. It was great. So
do you have anything like scheduled? I know that's kind of hard. I know some places are like open.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like, are you just kind of like...
I'm doing, when does this episode come out?
Friday the 29th?
No. That's a Friday. 22nd?
Yes.
Oh, this is next week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, so Friday the 22nd. Sweet, that's awesome. I think the 30th I think Saturday, January 30th, I'm doing a show at it's at this like it's at this freaking movie theater. It's gonna be pretty cool. On Long Island. That should be an awesome show. I think I have another gig or two coming up in February, but it's so scarce right now. There's not a lot of places. Plus, with things getting worse, it's pretty hard. But there's definitely stuff out there. So if by the time this comes out or whatever, if I got more dates, I'll definitely shoot them your way, and you could plug them if you'd like.
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And I'd probably say anything you'll put on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Which is, I always try not to get them swapped because like your Instagram and your Twitter are kind of flip flop. Like your Instagram is Dan _ LaRocco and Twitter is Dan LaRocco _
Oh shit, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe I should change the Twitter. I like the _ LaRocco more.
Yeah.
I don't know. People spell it wrong, so it doesn't. I don't know. The underscore is kind of the least of my problems at times, but
yeah, no, I hear you. But I mean that. But anything you'll put on there.
Yeah. Dan _ LaRocco is my Instagram. I'm sure this will be up on there. I'll drop the link in my bio and then yell at my mom to watch it and hopefully get at least at least 6 viewers. So yeah.
Well, man, this was fun again. I feel like this was cool for us to just shoot stories back and forth the whole time. Like this was a lot of fun. I feel like the first time was like us getting to know each other.
Oh, of course.
And this was just like,
catching up.
Yeah, hopefully I have more hopefully I have some more adventures next time.
Yes.
But like what we were talking about through message, like, dude, like it's a lot of work, man. Like, sure. I think people that don't do this don't realize, like,
right.
Especially, like, I don't have the luxury of being, for one, I'm not a comedian. I'm just a fan of comedy. And I'm just a regular guy. Like, nobody knows who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if it's somebody who's, like, known, they could get guests, no problem.
Right.
But it's just like I'm, having to like discover people and then like reaching out to them and hopefully I get a response.
I mean, dude, you've had some really awesome people on the show, some really, really freaking great comics, and it's probably just at the very least you're having fun, you're having a good time. They're getting to talk to someone who's a fan, and like just that's an awesome opportunity and thing for you to be able to do. And also I think it'll get I would think easier as time goes on for you to get other people, because it's like, all right, look at your reputation, who you've had on the show already and things like that. And
and it's like and when I send messages, it's because a lot of people too, I'm not sure how to appropriately contact them. Like I've been strictly going through Instagram DM, and like some I'll have to like just see if they, see if they just have an email address on their site, if they have a site.
Right.
It may even come down to me emailing a manager or two every now and then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and then I'm probably gonna I thought of an idea where like I might some days so I don't have the pressure of having to try to schedule somebody, do ones like where it's kind of like just me, where I can like talk about funny stuff kind of similar to this except just me, and I might maybe look up some really odd or off the wall like news articles online or something and kind of talk about them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, dude, that's a great idea.
And it's still like new, and I can still kind of basically do whatever I want,
Right. Yeah, before it's too established as like this is what it is. You have the creative freedom to really make it what you want to make it.
Well, thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, definitely. You got it, man. See you later.
Catch you next time.
Logging off. That's it.
Yeah, it's all right. Bye-bye now.